Hi, Ryan. Thank you for coming.
Bro, what the fuck is your name,
Be
man?
quiet.
Hello.
Go ahead, Ryan. Thanks.
Nobody can stand the truth, man.
It's gonna be one of those. Did you listen to Trump's speech?
Yes, we listened to the whole thing in here.
That was horrible.
There was a speech?
Pal.
Dude, it was in Israel.
Please allow Ryan to talk.
He was blown.
Please
Yeah.
allow Ryan to talk.
Yeah, it was Israeli Hasbara for sure. He got up there and said all their talking points. Iran's the greatest purveyor, state-sponsored terrorism, blah, blah, blah. And he also, most importantly, is he threatened future attacks on more bases. This attack was a dud because it was so foreseeable and announced that Iran just emptied out as much as possible the targets. They weren't worried about Fordow because it's got a mountain on it. So it was a face-saving measure by Trump. He's so stupid, he probably thinks they were making a nuke. They're not. Even if they enriched the uranium, which they didn't, they don't have a delivery system. They'd still be years away. It's just, I don't feel like debunking the propaganda anymore. But he got up there and said, now's the time for peace. But if not, there'll be more bombings by the United States. And he admitted that the whole thing was planned with him and Netanyahu. So it wasn't like Israel was like betting on whether or not they could get America in. They knew America was in from the start. And he also did this 14-day window crap and then bombed on day 4. But really, it hasn't.
It's going to cause.
Go ahead. Continue, Ryan.
It hasn't changed the trajectory of the war at all. I mean, Iran's army's intact, Iran's navy's intact, the ballistic missiles are intact, and they can still continue to smash mostly Haifa and Tel Aviv and other targets. They don't need to listen to America. If I was Iran, I would not respond by hitting U.S. bases because the U.S. has emptied those out too, at least in Iraq. Don't give a pretext to drag them into this. You are winning this war with Israel. Don't take the bait. Take it on the chin. Ignore the Americans. Let Trump do his little self-congratulatory crap. The only thing Trump really bombed today was MAGA. He just wiped out his own base, not an Iranian base.
That's exactly why I didn't say anything about MAGA, but yeah, I said that the attack was a dud to kind of pull Iran out from behind the mountain, if you will, and kind of attack them and become more vulnerable. King, if you have something for Ryan, go ahead, and then we'll go to Syrian Girl.
Yeah, basically, America is only on defense. They can never go boots on the ground and all that shit. That's done. So, yeah.
We have a new tweet from the president that's up in the nest there. Any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. All caps.
He's a child.
Go ahead.
He's a child.
Syrian Girl, go ahead.
What makes you all think that this is a one and done thing that the US is going to stop?
It's not.
It's not. Exactly. So what's going to stop the US from attacking further? I ask you that. I'm asking the panel.
The tweet is interesting because the implication is Israel can be attacked. So as long as they don't attack the U.S., I don't think Iran even needs to. I think Iran has demonstrated superiority over Israel. I think this is a victory for them. Even if Israel, it would be nice for them to have nuclear weapons, but they don't actually really need them because Israel can't ever use their nukes. They shouldn't have them, but they can't really use them. And the fantasy of the Iron Dome is totally shattered now. And there's no regime change. It seems like there's a red line at regime change for the U.S. So I do think it could peacefully resolve from that. Well, I hope, honestly. But
So basically, everyone who thinks Iran does not have nukes is dumb, because Iran can buy nukes from North Korea.
They cannot buy a nuke from North Korea.
They can buy it from
what are you
Russia.
talking about, King?
Yeah, already
we're done.
Bro, what
Okay.
level of weed did you smoke tonight?
Go ahead, Ryan.
That's not how that works, King.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Iran does not have a nuke. They're not going to buy a nuke, and nobody would sell them a nuke except for North Korea, who could have to deliver it through China, who's not going to allow that. They don't have a nuclear weapon. That is just Israeli propaganda. We're going to get a nuke. They've been saying it for 20 years. They're 5 minutes away from a bomb. As for Iron Dome and and Syrian girl, Mimi, I don't know what you want to be called. Both she and I did interviews with actual rocket scientist Ted Postel many years ago, debunking the Iron Dome. It's always been, it can stop little Katyusha rockets. It can't do anything, not only about hypersonic, but cruise missiles, low altitude shots, etc. It's just military hardware that they can sell. I would not take the bait if I was around. There's nothing to stop the U.S. from doing continued strikes, and they will do continued strikes because Israel will continue to lose this war. So they're going to get dragged in. The only thing that can stop it, because that was the question of the panel, is like, what can stop that? It's not Russia, China, blah, blah. It's American people themselves. His base, MAGA, has to completely turn on him. He has to
Don't you
see
think that they
that
should
he's left
bomb
with nothing
US
but Zionist
targets in order
Christians.
to accelerate that? Because the more, if American soldiers unfortunately die for Israel, don't you think that's gonna actually result in his base actually having a reason to oppose him?
Well, they could
No.
bomb themselves and blame it on Iran, but like that's always a possibility.
Or
They
Iran
emptied
could
them
just
out.
bomb
They
him.
moved them west. And
He's going to force Jerome Powell to lower the interest rates. And then one way or another, as fucked up as it is, the market will go up. And that's how he's going to try to save the MAGA base.
Like Trump's in his second term. His base has no power over him. Ultimately, he's a
no,
second-term
he's
president.
a narcissistic egomaniac that wants to be loved. His base does have power over him.
I agree.
Yeah, but if he behaves
he's-
right, then he can get the love of the tech bros and he can finally be accepted by that big billionaire class that he just never really quite fit in.
I think he's getting the Nobel Peace Prize now.
What about the midterms?
It's too far
They're
away.
He's
gone.
fucked.
It's too
The
far away.
midterms are lost for the Republicans now.
He's fucked.
Well,
It's done.
it shouldn't even be thought about. Like, we shouldn't be thinking about that. As far as, like, vote for who you want, but I'm saying, like, that is so far.
What Ryan doesn't take into account is that you have military leadership which has to act. Like, it's not an option on the table for Iran to not do anything. They had their they knew from day one, first of all, that US was involved. They're not stupid. They did what you said when Israel attacked them. Like, when Israel attacked them first and crossed the red line by bombing a nuclear facility, something that has never happened in the history of mankind, by the way, they didn't retaliate against the US, which, in my opinion, they should have done from the beginning. They said, okay, you know what? We're gonna just keep focusing on Israel, even though we know the US is involved 100%. But now you have the US stepping up the game and bombing with actual bombers nuclear facilities and creating a mayhem, which now I can assure you those images of the burning nuclear facilities, everyone has seen the TV show from what has happened in Ukraine with the nuclear facility there and the Soviet Russia. I can't remember the name. And everyone is like, that's actually scary. Like, you have a nuclear facility on fire because of US bombing. Now, as a military, like, you cannot not answer to that. You have soft targets everywhere. You have your proxies. Your strength is not rockets, actually, is asymmetrical warfare. And you have to do something about that. You have to put the hurt on the world economy, because if the world economy goes to fucking shit, and a mega voter has to go to refill his tank, and he has to spend 10 times as much because the price of oil just skyrocketed, that is when Trump loses support. But saying that Trump loses support just because, he promised that he's not going to do war, and now he just bombed another country, and the other country doesn't retaliate against the US, like, that doesn't do anything really
Look,
to his
There has
base.
to be a
betrayal.
consequence for this. I agree with
I'm
Kurt.
so glad
Okay.
you're not in charge. Like, attacking America is how he would get support. Are you mental?
Right.
If Americans
Exactly.
died, everybody would rally behind Trump. You can't react like that. And there's no nuclear facility on fire. They bombed a mountaintop. They didn't destroy anything. And it's Zaporozhye that you couldn't remember.
Why would Trump put out there years ago that if I get assassinated by Iran, there's a plan in place? Why would someone say
Because
that?
Trump, for the longest time, even before he was in politics, was obsessed and paranoid over being assassinated. Even when he was in
No, dude.
business, even when he was in business,
No.
yes, he even has even said that in his books, and people that have written about him in books have said he's obsessed. Dude, it's so bad. It's why he eats well done steaks. Like it's crazy.
Why
Like I'm
he's
not even
obsessed with
fucking
it. One of the
around.
reasons why he
Dude,
eats so
being an
much
off
fast
gritter,
food.
I do that sometimes.
Dude, he has all sorts of
Yep.
It's so
superstitions. It's so
weird.
funny.
But I'm just saying, body doubles, all this stuff exists. It's just a weird thing to put out there, especially for a guy that's superstitious. Like a person that's superstitious wouldn't say it. You're not saying it because you
There
don't want
were
to put that
there
out
were
there.
2 attempts on his life.
Yeah, but
Well,
he said the Iran thing before that, before those two.
It's a narcissist also, so it's about making himself seem more important by saying what he says.
Yeah. Well, but like, why
Trump
not
sees
China?
himself like Lincoln, and Lincoln was assassinated. He even tried to do the tariff thing that Lincoln did, which was just as disastrous as when Lincoln did it. He's a child. He's a fucking moron. And he's trying to bait Iran into killing Americans because this is how the American media will spin it. They will not be about, obviously, we started it, we bombed them for, like, you know that, I know that, but that's not what it'll happen. You'll be like, oh my God, the biggest purveyor terrorist state in the world has attacked innocent little Americans who are just trying to defend the world from a maniac with a nuclear bomb, blah, blah, blah. And that will galvanize the American public. Be like, oh, they killed us. Well, fuck them. We'll shock and awe. We'll show them.
Well, how about
That's,
the
don't
Iraqis
take
kill
that
them
bait.
for the Iranians then?
No, I mean I think
Come
that their
again.
only play is to bomb Israel. Like you're right. If they
Keep
start to kill
bombing Israel.
Americans, yeah. If you keep bombing Israel and we keep going and doing attacks on them, then Americans are going to keep pushing back on him. Especially if it starts to affect. I do agree with the economy thing. If it does affect our gas prices, that'll put stress on him too, because people won't be okay with that. But yeah, if he hits Americans,
They,
it's just gonna push Americans to be
they can
okay
a-
with it.
they can only make one ballistic missile a week now. That's why Israel struck them now, because their industrial capacity is weakened from the October
Where
attack.
are you getting that from?
The Washington Post. It's on my timeline. I can go get it.
Okay.
They cited here. I'll go get it.
No, no,
All
we
right.
don't care.
Hey, go tell me which
don't
Levine
bother, man.
Bergerstein wrote that piece.
Okay.
Let me
One
ask you something,
ballistic
Iran
Ryan.
missile a
Iran has been
week
prepping for
is
this for a
crazy.
long time. They have ballistic missiles. That's not. They need to bomb Tel Aviv until it looks like Gaza.
They need to go for the
They can't do
mononuclear
that.
reactor. One reactor for another. An eye for an
No,
eye. A
so
tooth for a tooth.
right before Ryan got here, you guys were telling, I was talking about chemical weapons, and I was talking about, will they be used? And then somebody said they don't have. Iran has zero chemical weapons, but I mean, if you actually want to
What?
win,
Why in the world would you use a WMD when you're outmatched 1,000 to 1 on those and offering the pretext for them to use them back on you? That is the dumbest move.
All right, let
it
me
could,
ask you
but it's
something, Ryan.
escalation.
Like,
Using
you understand
chemical
about
weapons here would give
Eh,
Washington the
Henry.
excuse
Oh, sorry. I thought it was
to
Henry.
go
Go
all
ahead,
in.
go on.
Look, using chemical weapons here gives Washington an excuse to go all in. How many times has that been a result? Every time, every time you're just giving them what they want. Like it's ludicrous.
So,
It's
they
but
don't
not
it
even
even a
doesn't.
have them.
consideration.
They
What's
don't
Even
the
if
even have them.
alternative?
even if they had chemical weapons, it would be ludicrous to use them right now.
Yeah,
But they
you don't
don't.
want to
I mean, I
give.
don't
Yeah,
even understand the discussion. It's not an option.
yeah, the whole point is anybody telling Iran to do crazy shit that would turn American citizens in favor of the war is the worst idea.
No, I'm
Your
not.
only play is to keep
Dude,
the American population pissed
That's
off at the war.
ridiculous.
but that's
That's the
Okay,
that's
only
Ryan.
way
like.
this stops.
Ryan,
Okay.
look.
All
I'll
right,
explain
that's
to.
fair. It's fair. Whatever.
Wait a second. Ryan, look. If you are in a war, there are a thing called escalation, and you have to escalate or surrender. Like, if you
Not
come and slap,
escalating the wrong
look,
way though.
no.
That is
If you
false.
if you come and slap me and I slap you back, if you come and punch me and I slap you back, if you come and knife me and I slap you back, I might as well surrender because you're gonna come back and shoot me next time. And what I'm gonna do? You're gonna expect me to slap you back? You don't want wars like that. Never. It's never happened since antiquity. So if after this strike of the US, you're gonna just keep doing the same thing you've been doing until now. Keep throwing rockets at the Israeli interception system. that it's not only the Iron Dome, by the way. The US is there to intercept. Jordan is there to intercept. Other forces are there to intercept. So everyone is waiting for those rockets, and every 100 you throw, 5 hit. You're just gonna keep doing the same thing. Where's
Let
the
me give you a
Ibrahim is
better
strategy?
in
analogy.
listeners,
Let me
by
give
the
you a
way.
better analogy. You're in a
They
fight
can
with
just say
someone
you.
about your same size, and you're having a back
Yeah.
and forth, and then you go up and you decide to sucker punch their UFC fighter friend and 100 of his buddies and drag them into it too. That is so fucking stupid.